Aaron, you starting it, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
This is your baby, dog. This is what you've been wanting to do for the last 8 years of your life.
All right, so we good then. We good to go.
You ready?
I don't really know what I want to do. Like, I really don't want to go crazy like that. I just want to be like,
You
I
don't
don't
have
know.
to go crazy. You don't have to be like super high energy or
Yeah.
go. Like just
I was gonna say if it feels more natural for you to just do the drop later, like you know what I mean, like
no.
we could just jump into a conversation. You
We
don't have
just,
to necessarily.
I could do it. I'll count myself in. 3, 2, 1. What it do? It's the new. It's the new politics. I was gonna say what it do. Nah, not what it do. That's whack. 3, 2, 1.
Ran it up like Forrest Gump, mixed with Usain Bolt, but you never really made it back. You kept paving waves. When I spin the globe, I'm connected across the map. I'm a walk-in business brand. I'm a mogul with LLC. What you telling me?
What up, everybody? It's the No Politics podcast. No politics. We in this. It's your boy FakinNoMoves.
It's your boy erikBnyc.
it's your boy WorkinGenius.
We in here.
Yes,
What
sir.
it do though? The boys are back in town.
Yes, sir.
Took a couple months sabbatical, came
Yeah,
back.
the usual. Nah,
Yeah.
but when you're trying to perfect something, takes time.
Facts. Want to make sure everything's in order. Want to do it right.
Facts. But yeah, man, how y'all been? How's your new year? Happy New Year and shit, Yeah. 2022.
Oh man, I'm just starting off the year right with COVID. Just getting over that.
Classic way to start the year off.
Word. Might as well,
Nowadays, if you don't start the year off in January with it, it ain't real.
Yeah. I've been ducking it for almost 2 years, so it was my time. Got that little chat.
Do you feel like you relaxed a little bit, and like thinking back, like did you relax a little bit and that's why you might have caught it, or it was just random chance?
I mean, compared to how it started and how I was, yeah, definitely a little bit of relax, but not in a reckless manner. Okay. I really don't even know how I got it, to be honest with you. like I work from home. I've been working from home for almost like 2 years now, so it's like the only people that I really see on a regular basis are my parents and my brother, and they don't really see anybody for the most part. So
and
it's like
had it.
My brother had it. My parents have tested negative, so
that's good.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, I just mostly a cold, but it was interesting to start it off like that. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like I'm glad I got it out the way. In a way, I got it. I survived.
You saw how your body handled it. You was good.
Yeah.
Word.
For sure.
I had it. I was doing real good too. Same thing, but then I just broke for Mother's Day, and I was like, "All right, let's go. We're gonna go eat," And we went to eat. Literally, like 4 days later, I'm fucking eating and I can't taste. Things tasted funny. Now I couldn't taste. Things tasted funny and shit, but
I can't taste right now.
Damn.
Got no smell or taste. It's like it's barely like a faint, like very, very like I could taste like something if something's like bitter or like salty or something, but like it's not really a defined taste. It's hard to explain.
But it's not a bad taste, right? It's just a no taste kind of thing.
It's more no taste. It's more no taste.
Some people get it where it's a bad taste.
Yeah, like I heard people who have like their favorite shampoo is like some lavender smelling thing, and then it's like it smells like sulfuric acid and shit. Like after they had COVID, if they lose their sense of smell, like it's in certain people for whatever reason, like the senses end up turning certain things that smell one way, and it kind of gets like all out of whack.
Word. It's crazy because You got 2022. You got it. 2021. I had that version of it where shit tasted funny. My mom had the 2020 version of it, and to this day, she says like soda kind of tastes funny to her still.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know, that
some people, their taste, it takes a while. I was gonna ask you, Aaron, like how long did it take before your taste was back normal again?
well, see, because like soda, I like to drink soda, so like it tasted funny. But then I like it, Pepsi or Coke or some shit like that. But then I tried Mountain Dew, it tastes normal. I don't know, maybe Mountain Dew is made differently or something.
Even
I
to
don't know.
this day.
It is a different soda.
Nah, not to this day. So I was still kind of drinking soda, but I was drinking juice. Juice tastes normal. Regular food, like food tastes normal to me, except for like wings. Then I was eating soup and shit, fucking ramen noodle shit, like shit like that. Damn, I'm cursing a lot, right? Nah, but
I didn't even notice.
nah.
God forbid the wings taste different.
No, the wings were the only thing tasting different.
Damn.
But then because I love wings, but that and weed tasted different. But then I was good. Like I've quarantined and I like didn't do nothing. I was just drinking juice, eating soup. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to relax and chill. By the day they said I was supposed to be normal, like taste was normal. Like I bought wings and shit the day like I was free to go out of quarantine. I was like, I'm gonna try some wings. It was good.
So how many days approximately was that?
I want to say it was approximately like 10 days later.
10
Like 10
days. Okay.
days, yeah. And then soda was still a little funny. It took like a couple extra days. On the 10th day I smoked, weed tasted funny.
While you was
After
10 days from the time you tested positive or 10 days from the time that you felt symptoms?
10 days from the day I tested positive.
Mm, okay.
So it was probably like literally like the 2 weeks probably that they was telling me to quarantine that it takes or some shit. You know what I'm saying? 10 days quarantine, 4 days they say I must have had it. That's what they approximated it because I started feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but so but that's what I'm saying. The only thing was the soda. A little more than that those days, probably like an extra week. So almost a month.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've
Crazy.
been fortunate enough not to get it at all.
Yeah. Thank God.
Let's keep
Knock
that.
on wood.
I don't even like talking about not having gotten it because I
Mm.
don't even want to put like but we on topic, so I gotta mention it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
we about to
overdo
change the
it.
topic though. Fuck that topic.
I'm overly cautious, so I'm just the chances of me getting it aren't high just based on the fact that I don't go out much. I try not to see people. I'm real strict about it, so I'm hoping I'm gonna just keep that up until I feel confident, like I could go out and shit is real under control. Like, but since the holidays just passed, I was like, I'm not seeing nobody. That's a part of why we had to kind of delay the podcast too. And content is like everybody was getting it. So it was like, you know what? I'm just not seeing people. I'm shutting it down. I didn't see nobody for New Year's. Had to
And
make that
this
decision.
holiday season that just passed was more so than any of the holidays where people were like, fuck that. Like, we're going to see our family, I feel like.
Yeah. Because we had just come off of 2 straight years, not 2 straight years, but
pretty
like
much
2 full years of not really being able to see people almost.
Yeah.
So like 20 something months of not really being able to see each other comfortably. So
yeah, facts.
people were kind of just like, fuck it, Thanksgiving.
I saw all my
Christmas,
family pretty much for Thanksgiving.
I thought
Christmas,
for sure.
I just didn't.
No, I was gonna say I thought for sure that I was gonna get it earlier because was it in November we threw my dad a surprise birthday party and there was like 20 people in the household.
Did y'all have him blow his candles out?
He did blow his candles out. And
Because
I was
when we was doing birthdays
waving
during
it.
the pandemic, nobody was blowing nobody was allowed to blow their candles out.
Oh,
That's how we
not me. I blew all my candles out for my birthdays.
Yeah, I don't know why he jumped in there and it sounded mad nasty how he said that. He's like, I blew all my candles out.
Oh, not me. Not me, B. On my birthday, I'm blowing my candles.
Right.
Nah, but it was like 20 people there. Everybody was vaccinated who was there, but that don't mean shit. As we now know that you can still get it. Nah, like you won't get it as bad, but you can still get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
true. Yeah, man. That's funny though. Well, at least you're feeling better, you know what I'm saying? And well, you wasn't really feeling bad anyway to begin with, like you said, something light, thank God.
Yeah,
But
nothing terrible.
yeah, man, that's why we started this podcast too, because shit, we be home, you know what I'm saying? We be communicating anyway. We be wanting to talk about mad different shit. And speaking of pandemics, since the pandemic, a lot of things have become new, popular. You know what I'm saying? I think y'all know where I'm going with this,
Yeah. I know where you're going anyway.
NFTs, the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all think about all that stuff, man? Because it's some big stuff. And now we got Elon over here. Like, I don't know what he's on. Like, I was rocking with Elon, but he talking about chips and people's brains and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not my thing. Have y'all seen Black Mirror?
Yeah, well, at least the ones that simulate what's going on nowadays.
I'm aware of the show, but I never actually
It's
watched
actually a really good show. You gotta watch it. But the chip one specifically, there's an episode
Seen that
called
one.
"The Entire History of You." It's, I think, the third episode of the first season, and it's literally just that. You're able to record memories. It's a chip like behind your ear. It's a microchip, and you can like have memories recorded on file, and then you can like go through them in your brain, kind of thing. Like, or you have like a small little remote or something, like very tiny, and you can kind of access your memories and shit. So like at the very beginning, the guy has like a job interview, and after the job interview is over, he kind of replays it in his head to see like how they're reacting to him and how he came off, kind of thing. But it doesn't end well. It's very, I mean, obviously you can see what the fuck could go wrong with something like that.
Scary.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard good things in terms of like they're hoping to use it on people who are disabled. There are positive ways to use technology, but as we know, like the rich are gonna get their hands on this, and once that happens, like they're gonna use it not to just help people, but to take advantage of it and see what it can, where you can take it, kind of thing, and that's the danger to me.
I mean, the metaverse, if you think about it, has kind of been like we've kind of been living a part of it for years now. Like if you think about video games, you think about mobile games and stuff, and you buying virtual coins, getting virtual coins, and to buy things to outfit your character, who's a representation and an extension of you in some ways.
And the metaverse is basically just the idea that at some point we're going to be so into that it's going to become more important or more valuable than our actual like life outside of it. So the moment where that crossover happens, we've kind of officially entered the metaverse. But like you said, we've kind of been already living in it in a way.
Word. Like if you think about it, right? Like think about some of the metrics that people kind of try to use to gauge success or gauge popularity in social media. It's likes, follows, retweets, comments, stuff like that, right? The metaverse is going to make it sold out now. NFTs and things of that nature now, like people are going to be able to see your collection.
Yeah.
And that's going to be kind of like a status symbol, so to speak, for people.
Yeah.
I've seen Gary V touch on that.
That was exactly what I was gonna say.
Where he was gonna say like it's like your wallet will be your new social media platform where you gotta show your status. Like that was a perfect way you put it.
Yeah, that people when they in the same way that like you go to a job interview and they might look you up on social media, they might look up a candidate's social media prior to see what they can learn about them. They will also be accessing their wallet to see like what are they buying, and that he believes it's a greater indicator of like the type of person, because what someone can put on social media could be totally fabricated, or they pick and choose, whereas what you're spending your money on is more indicative of what you're actually interested in and what you're actually doing, right? Because you're not spending your money on just anything, right? So
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, right? If you're trying to impress people, and if you feel as though this is a way to achieve that, whether it be impress a female or make yourself look like you're a part of some type of group or some type of like class level or something, and you want to reach this some level of status quo, like like you can end
you
up
could
buying
fake it.
shit. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's different. So like I that's a great point, because like on social media you can literally fake it, right? But it doesn't cost you anything financially usually. If I find a nice car outside and I take a picture in front of it, it ain't mine. I ain't spend nothing financially. Whereas to fake it with your wallet, you're gonna have to actually shell out the bread. You know what I mean? You're actually gonna have to put down on it. So
Which
only
they're
some
already
people
finding
will
hacks
be
to
able
that.
to. And some people might even do it, like you said, and they might do it anyway, and to their own detriment, because that's how bad they want to look like they're a part. But that's a great point. I can see people doing that to try to
I see it
manipulate.
happening already. I see people who would technically not really be considered of any high level, that now they're making these TikToks, they're making these different things like, hey, this is how I bought this NFT and made this how much money, because they were more on like the earlier stages of figuring out what an NFT was. So I don't want to say they were a nerd, but you know what I'm saying? It was like more so the geek learned the way, like, yo, NFTs, and boom, now it's like, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to get a certain status to get in a certain circle, and they're trying to leverage it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like now I'm a higher, whereas you would have just probably considered this person just a nerd at some point, or not cool. And
Aaron was a bully.
nah. Because now I want to get in on it too. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then you see people already hacking where they're finding bots that now, because there's certain ways where you got to get on Discord and reach a certain level to get whitelisted, to get it at a cheaper price, to get it earlier than the public.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using these things to get it because they want that status. So they're finding the hacks and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy though. It's crazy.
No different than people who don't necessarily maybe care about sneakers, but they try to get the latest sneaker and they'll use a bot to do so, to kind of stunt or just
To
make
flip
some
it.
dollars,
And
flip.
then after a while, they're sneakerheads and they're out here. They think they're all that with the illest newest kick because they already now been in the game, and it turned them into that thing, but they weren't that. Like, there's people, like certain people that just had that passion for sneakers from the beginning and did it the old school way, getting online or whatever, paying a little extra at the local sneaker shop that got the shit, you know what I'm saying, from the neighborhood, and whatever. Like, but shit changed now. And it's crazy you related it to that, because that could have been the start of the metaverse all along, just people hacking internet shit to get their status up, It's crazy.
Yes. I mean, we're part of a simulation, right? If you think about it, like people have talked about this before, like the way we're attached to our phones, what we're doing right now, like streaming this and recording this and using technology in this kind of way to kind of connect and stuff and connect to others, hopefully, like all of that shit is kind of weird when you sit down and really kind of think about it, like how we're kind of like represented in that way, in using technology in the digital world as like this medium to kind of get messages across, also to represent us, or a certain part of our personality or our likes and dislikes. It's
True.
kind of weird when you think about it like that.
True. But
Yeah,
it was natural for us to adapt to this too. That's all I really,
I was gonna say like in and not on no conspiracy theory shit, but like the pandemic kind of like isn't it funny how like the rise of all of this is happening during the pandemic where we saw things like now people got to go to school, over the
Mm.
computer and shit like
It's
that.
more acceptable, more
You
normal.
working, yeah, exactly. It's more normal now, and I mean, a thinking man would have like back in the day. I would have been like, why can't we just do school over the computer? I could just like that's easy, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but it's dangerous, right? Because it's convenient, and that's what's good. Even what we're doing right now is because it's convenient. You're somewhere else. You're in another state. We're not close. We're not, And then
Word.
obviously the pandemic, COVID, whatever. So we're being extra careful, extra cautious. So it's convenient in ways. I still hope that we're gonna be coming together in person more to do the podcast. Obviously, shit like that. But people are becoming so comfortable with this form of communicating and working online, and that it's like it's kind of moving us, it's fast forwarding us kind of
Word.
to like where everything is just like this.
It sped up the pandemic sped up the process, and like,
Exactly.
was that part of the plan, or did it just happen like spontaneously, because that's
Because
the
there's a lot of
way?
money in NFTs and the metaverse, right? Like there's
Yeah,
obviously going to be a lot of money in it, so you know
bro. I
people with
just
money
seen
they,
some
they
shit
can
where
always see ahead.
some dude just sold his NFT for $91 million, the highest selling digital art piece ever, or some shit. He just, like,
What
that's
was it?
crazy.
What was special about it? Like,
Nothing. I don't even know if I'm even looking at it, but it looks
who's
like
the
a
guy? Do you
ball. It
know the
just looks like
guy?
a ball.
Is the guy
Uh,
popular?
the guy's name is Pack, Pak. I don't know him. I'm my first time. He sold his NFT called The Merge for $91.8 million.
Sheesh.
It's a sphere. It looks like the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, Gary V kind of talked about that also, where it's like
I'm gonna screenshot that.
a lot of people kind of like what a lot of people are putting money down. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West, right? So like markets are kind of like it's so brand new that they're still forming, and like we don't still have really a clue what's going to be valuable down the line, and like what's going to be valuable even a month from now, a couple weeks from now. Like
Hmm.
it's
Word,
so volatile.
Well,
word,
he always compares it to like the rise of the internet and how like everybody at first try and get in, and then it kind of most things collapsed, most things weren't a thing, but you know what? Things certain things still rose, and
word.
a lot of the shit we back then, it's not here today, and so he says that the same thing is going to happen for NFTs. Everybody's just trying to get in, of course, but like, how do you know what is going to hold value 20 years from now? You don't, right? So it's
Right.
like a guessing game,
That's
really, and we're just
why.
trying to get a piece.
That's why for me, it might not be the right strategy or whatever, but I am strictly gonna buy and invest in what I like. Like, it has to be good quality art and something that I actually fucking like.
Hmm.
I'm not just trying to jump on every ape fucking trend, or you know what I'm saying. Like, it has to be something cool that I like. Like, if it's a some sort of ape or something, if it's cool and I like it, yeah, cool, I'll jump on that. And there are certain other things you have to look at, like how many people follow this whatever this drop or release, for whether it's an NFT, at least, like, in my opinion. But the metaverse too, like, look what Snoop's doing. Snoop is killing it, whether it's NFTs or fucking, he bought land in one of these I don't know which one it is, Sandbox or the Central Land, because these are like the popular ones that are popping up for like actual metaverse shit where people
Hmm.
are working and all that. And he bought land, and like people are just like spending mad bread to be his neighbor, millions of dollars to be his neighbor in the metaverse. And he's just him as a brand being on top of it and promoting that is driving up the value of like this metaverse life shit. Think about it. Snoop is an icon, but one day he's not gonna be here. But think about like how he could live on through his metaverse shit. You know what I'm saying?
do you mean like
His
by
family
his?
still got to control it though,
That's what I'm saying.
but people in some way will be connected to seeing his character of himself and still moving around, or maybe they might do concerts of his metaverse shit. Like this is just me thinking like outside of us because shit is still new, but you
That's a
never know.
valid point though, because if you think about it, right? Like somebody who's young nowadays doesn't know really Snoop as a rapper for the most part. They know him from films, probably. They know him like from stuff that like you wouldn't necessarily associate with him, you know, if you were somebody who grew up in the 90s and kind of saw him in his heyday, right? So it's like it is a possible that we might live in a world one day where somebody knows Snoop for just having a bunch of digital real estate in
And
the
being,
metaverse.
yeah,
He was like, "Oh
exactly.
yeah, no, that's that guy from the metaverse. He has this XYZ and like whatever." I'm like, "Yo," but somebody
That's the guy
older,
from Fortnite. That's what kids, how
yeah,
I
kids
ain't
do with
gonna lie,
everything
like
now.
this might
exactly.
be heavy to say, but like sort of like a metaverse god. Like he was one of the first people in on the metaverse shit, like a metaverse god type shit. There might be artists that are gonna come along and do the same shit and be bigger names and maybe even take it to another level. Like say if a Drake was start putting his name attached with metaverse shit, that shit might go fucking bananas. You know what I'm saying? But Snoop was the first one putting his name next to that,
It's
like
no, it's no
changing it.
different.
You know?
It's no different than like you ask like a younger kid today who's like 12 years old, 13 years old, who Michael Jordan is. They might just tell you, "Oh yeah, it's the guy from sneakers. He sells sneakers."
Sneakers. Yep.
They might not.
Wow.
They don't know him as the arguably
I'll
the greatest
smack the
ever.
12-year-old, but I get it. Might have to teach him something, but I get it.
Yeah.
Gee,
But
man,
I was
that's
gonna
crazy.
say, I was gonna say about in regards to the metaverse, like in terms of like what maintains value and how the metaverse even deeper, the way you said like people who can know Snoop from the metaverse, like the metaverse is, me and Aaron had this conversation probably at this point a month ago, but the metaverse is so like people not even thinking how crazy it can get, right? Because now we got all this VR shit, right? So it's not even just about controlling your person in the metaverse, it's being there. And then I just shared something with y'all earlier about it's like the glove that allows you to feel in the metaverse. And like, think about how crazy this can get. And I've watched Black Mirror, so maybe if y'all not as familiar, y'all don't see how crazy it can get. But it's real. That's
Well,
as close as it can get.
Well, just the glove that you mentioned and stuff, and being able to feel things virtually and stuff like that. Like, first of all,
Am I the only one that's thinking men and women
oh yeah,
That's exactly where I'm going with
relationship?
this.
exactly,
Niggas is cheating.
exactly,
Let's keep
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, think about how weird is it that there's gonna be a point in time, and it's probably already happened, because think about how things progress. Like at one point before AOL instant messaging and the internet and stuff like that, and before texting, like if you're getting into a situation with your significant other, like the way that you get in those compromising situations when you're kind of having talks or conversations with somebody outside of your relationship, like they would happen either in person or over the phone. Right now, because of technology, it progressed like to email, text. You're sending photos, you're sharing. Now
Now
you got social media, right? And now, like the metaverse, like you can basically have a relationship with somebody outside of your marriage or outside of your relationship, and it's like,
And you can cheat on them.
right. But that's the thing. Is it cheating?
But is it cheating?
Hell yeah.
Not
Right.
like
Is
what
it
if
cheating
someone
is it cheating outside of
smashes?
that? So you share
Come on.
with us
this is-
that glove, right? Where you can feel things, right?
Mhm.
That's different, right? Because
Okay.
you're now trying to simulate something that you would only be able to do in person with somebody,
Mhm.
being physical. Now let's say you don't go that far.
Okay.
Let's say
I
you're
just think
just
about Nori and I just think about finger popping though. Like so like It's like, so did you finger pop? Like, yeah, everyone's finger popping in the metaverse. Like, what do you mean?
Everybody.
Like,
That's the thing.
Is that a thing? Is that actually a thing?
that's
He's good.
gonna be a thing.
Oh
Faking
no,
is
for sure,
about to make it one.
bro.
Yeah.
It's as simple as this. Do you consider it cheating if you DMing another girl on Instagram? Like not
My girl
just
does,
DMing.
so
Like
yes,
obviously, if you
and I
DMing
do
and you
too.
talking to
Nah,
her,
fuck
talking to
that.
her,
All
are
right.
you
I don't
cheating?
talk to girls, bro. What
There
you
you
trying to
go.
do? What you trying to do?
Why?
You trying
Because
to set
if you
me up?
did, is what?
You know my wife's watching this. Nah.
Even all right, yeah, it's a valid point. So even if you don't have any ulterior motive to a conversation with somebody of the opposite sex, or even it's not only the opposite sex, if it want to be the same sex or whatever you're into, whatever your preference may be, yeah, like for somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody and that person finds you speaking with this person, like they may feel a certain way, right? Like what business you got talking to this person? So like now if you're spending money in
I
the
was just gonna
metaverse,
say. I was looking through your wallet. Who you bought them flowers
yeah,
for in the metaverse?
exactly.
Like
You don't even
you bought
take
them
me
Wow.
out to
digital roses
dinner.
for.
You don't even take me out to dinner. And you buying virtual dresses for this bitch over here?
Mm-hmm.
No. Nah, but the shit that scares me, my point of view on it too, is that like we're gonna be able to experience this, but this is the future, and I got kids. So like my kids, this is gonna be their future potentially, and their kids' future, like for sure. So it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how do you parent that? How do you like parental control something like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't got the answer, and I'm the only one that's a parent here. So
That shit's
that's
scary.
you know,
It's scary. Because I mean, if you think about it, right? Like, think about how things progressed. So, like, kids could really get lost in something like this. Like, if you think about video games, like video games was the window that we had when we were younger as kids into what this could possibly be. We would immerse ourselves in these video games, sometimes these role-playing games that we're playing, or whatever, it could be a multiplayer game, right? And you playing with your boys online, Call of Duty, whatever it may be, whatever your preference. And it's like you have basically an avatar, a representation of you in this digital environment and stuff. Now, like it's going next level. So now you already saw it in like on whatever platform you use, whether it be PlayStation, Xbox. You have virtual coins that you could use to outfit your characters now. Like you're giving them personalities. You're mapping your own faces on these characters, just like in 2K.
yeah.
All of these things, like in 2K, you got the playground. You could go to the Nike store. You could get new kicks.
Yeah.
Like you end
I've
up
been getting fly in the 2K
exactly,
metaverse.
but only to stunt on the playground to get your ass busted on the court, right?
Nah, hell no. Nah,
it's
it depends because 2K they were fucking up the shots on the courts and shit. But this year it's a little better in the PS5 and shit. When
I haven't
you
played
upgrade, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't played it, but my point is, it's like if you think about it, we're becoming more and more immersed in these kind of virtual worlds, right? There was a time, I'm older than y'all, so when I was younger, when we played video games, most of the times we played in person in the same room. Then when I was a teenager, when we started doing like System Link and shit, where we'd be like in two different rooms in the same household and we're playing a multiplayer game. And then it got to the point now where it's like, I don't got to be in the same spot as you. I could be here as long as I got a high speed connection. You could be at your crib. And then, but if you think about it, as dope and convenient as that is and was, kind of like Zoom and all the stuff we use today and that we've been using in the pandemic, you are losing kind of that connection. There's nothing like being in the same room with somebody and kind of like feeding off of somebody's energy and stuff. It's a different thing being in a digital medium doing that. So it's like it's only gonna get more immersed into that. And like you said, you have younger kids. It's going to be crazy to think about what they're going to be experiencing 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, as a kid, like I have this vivid memory of when me and Aaron were playing PS2 in the room, and we simulating the ESPN 2K basketball, and like the excite there was we were trying to simulate it so that the Sixers could win the finals, because it was the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
Because
With
I
AI?
know I was a big fan of Allen Iverson. We wanted the Sixers to win. This must have been what, the year 2000?
Nah,
ESPN 2K, right?
2003.
2003?
It was
Okay.
ESPN basketball.
Okay.
That was
And
the game.
and I never forget, like, the excitement when they finally won. We had to simulate to like year 2020 something.
Yeah.
And Aaron was in the shower, and I ran to the bathroom to fucking tell him why he's in the shower, and just that excitement. And then I noticed when I play, compare that, right? Maybe we're kids, maybe it's different because we're kids, but like compare that to like now we playing video games online. Like it's a lot different. Like Aaron could be in a good mood, and like if I'm not in a good mood, right, it's a lot easier for me to be in a shit mood playing a game when Aaron's not next to me, right? But when people are in the same room, you know, they naturally kind of, like you say, you feed off that energy. You're not gonna be
And
super
to
shitty to the
piggyback off of
person
that real
next to you.
quick, I find it more easier though to make a fucking room where we could play, like, you know what I'm saying, like link up online and play, than when we're actually together in the same room playing a video game. Now, like, it's easier to actually go online, be like,
Yeah.
yo, what's up, let's play, then when we're all together, none of us ever be like, yo, let's play the game, you got two controllers, like, what's up?
I don't even have two controllers no more.
It doesn't even happen. It's
Yeah.
easier to actually link
It's
up
actually
online.
easier to do it from apart.
That's the crazy part, how it
Yeah.
evolved to that. But that's all part. That was like the beginning of the metaverse, I would say too. As soon as you could play online with each other.
Yeah.
Video games definitely, like,
Yeah.
But the point I was making is that, like you said, the feeding off the energy, like, and it kind of, you see it in social media in a way. If you go to social media comment sections, right, it's way easier to disrespect someone in a comment section than it is if they were right there in person, right? So people overall are becoming even shittier people, you know, to each other, because like it's easier for me to be mad at Aaron when we playing the game online and he fucks up than if he's next to me and we laughing about it. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
True.
It's just because, and
it's not the same level of accountability when you could say something behind the text or in the comment section rather than somebody being across from you. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And people are kind of getting into that habit too, and you know,
That
just
scares me.
it's making us
That
shittier
scares me
people
'cause
and less happy.
bullying in the metaverse might be like something that like we're not even thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
you
could
know,
probably get blocked entirely from the metaverse.
look at these kids nowadays that have self-confidence problems and want to hurt themselves and stuff. You know, like, it's sad. So I would hope that this doesn't make shit like worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
in the
I always
future.
think there's two sides to that, right? They could also go on to the metaverse and be the coolest person on the metaverse, and it's
Yeah.
not be representative of their life at all, but that gives them excitement. You know what I mean?
That was what we would. That's
So
what
there's
we
two
would want.
sides to it. There's always gonna be,
Yeah.
you know, a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
I wonder at what point does it reach the point where being cool in the metaverse means more, or your friends in the metaverse, or who you have as friends, or who you live near, or what your status is in that universe becomes more important than what it is in the real world? Or is there no real world?
Does. I think it already does for a lot of people, because right now, what is the most important thing? We were talking about it: social media followers,
That's true.
internet clout. And now
that's why everyone wants to buy a piece of land next to Snoop in the fucking metaverse right now. Like, all the major fucking brands that could afford $1 million pieces of fucking digital land are doing it. Fucking yeah, I can't name off the top, but I know Atari got fucking land and Walking Dead, the fucking show got land and shit.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was actually having a conversation with this homegirl of mine, right? So like she's an artist, you know, and she's a dope artist or whatever, but like she won't be using social media heavy like that. And she used to do a lot of art and stuff, and she was trying to put her stuff out there at one point, and then she kind of was dealing with certain stuff and fell back, right? For a long time. Now she recently had plans of creating a website and trying to get her art out there and start selling pieces. She started slowly getting back into it. So she had this whole kind of like, I want to say rant. I don't want to say rant. I don't want to make it sound negative, but
Vent.
vent,
Vent.
or was a Kanye term, a stream of consciousness. So she had this stream of consciousness on her stories where she went in and she was like, yo, it's like I don't understand how I post a piece of my art on my timeline and it only gets like 20 likes or something and a couple comments, but then when I post it on my stories it's getting like 200 views or whatever. She was like, what is it? It's like, are there people there who are here following me and it's like, don't fuck with what I'm doing? Or is it like, or don't fuck with me personally? If that's the case, like, why are you following me? Like, why not the same level of engagement and this and the third? So she was kind of like asking, like, why is it like this? And like, whatever. You could tell she was kind of like bothered by it. So like, we had a conversation. I was like, listen, like, I understand where you're coming from, but it's like, if you're gonna get bogged down by social media and whatever value people place on likes, retweets, comments, and shares and stuff like that, then like, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. It's like you just got to put out dope shit. People are gonna be attracted to you. There's always gonna be an audience. It might be a slow burn. It might not happen overnight. Most times it doesn't. But eventually, like, if you're consistent with it and you do dope stuff, little by little, people are gonna flock to you. And oftentimes, like family members, friends, people who you think are close to you, they don't always kind of like have your support you in that way. It's usually the people who don't know you from a hole in the wall who are going to be the ones to spend bread and really invest in you in that way. There's a whole universe out there that's beyond your family members, your friends, and whatever circle you run in.
Bro, I talk about this all the time. I'm glad you bring it up. Me and Aaron talk about this all the time. But think about any famous person, any famous popular figure, celebrity, whatever, right? More than 99% of their fans are people who don't know them. That is the math. Because the people who actually do know them is a small majority. This, they have their family, their friends, maybe other, people in their circle, right? But 99+% are people that don't know them from anything. And that's always going to be how it is. And it does feel like that. There's a lot of times I've put out content. Me and Aaron have put out content. Aaron is like, whatever, where it feels like you're not getting that outpouring of support like you would expect. Yeah. And it's like you said, you can't allow it to buy you down. You just got to keep moving forward and keep putting out the content and stay consistent. And, like you said, it's all going to come from people who don't know you through fucking anything. And a lot of times I think it's because when people know you personally, right, it's hard to believe, like, this person I grew up with, this person that I know so closely, like, this person ain't Drake. Like, could you imagine someone that grew up with Drake, like, realize, like, they not kids sitting next to Drake thinking, like, oh, yeah, Drake? Yeah, nah, he the next biggest thing in the world. Like, you don't know. You're not thinking crazy like that. So it's hard. Even if someone believed in him, they probably not thinking, Drake has shattered every expectation of anyone who's ever believed in him. There's no way he hasn't. There's no way someone predicted, like, Drake is going to be the biggest thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, so it's hard to believe that someone you rock with is going to be like super major next level popular. And so I understand the hesitancy. Like, you just see them as like, that's my boy, that's my friend, So
Yeah.
it's really hard to fathom. But like in this world, especially where everyone's making content now, like that's like important. If you're a content creator, it's like I need that little bit of support from the people close to me, and it's just I don't know.
Nah, for sure, for sure. It's just you could easily get discouraged. I get it, but it's like you got to kind of keep things in perspective. Also, it's like there's no such thing as a 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to like what your views are on your stories and what your likes should be. Like
Exactly.
you could have 1,000 followers.
There's no way
Right?
you're not getting 1,000 likes. Yeah, like,
You're not. And then with the algorithms right now with Instagram and they always switching it up, like like what's gonna show on your feed is only gonna be stuff that you mostly engage with, right? So
Facts.
like things that you've liked in the past are more prone to kind of show up in your feed. Things people who you left comments on, people that you shared, if you scroll through a carousel, it might show up. You know what I mean? Like stuff on your explore page, whatever, it's gonna represent that. So yeah, like it's a weird thing to kind of get upset about, but it's like that's 2022 for you. Like that's the age that we live in, where it's like we said before, those things matter, and they're gonna matter even more so, and it's gonna get even more complicated, and the lines between reality and whatever these worlds are that we create for ourselves are going to be even more blurred.
You know what? I was wondering too, because you know, metaverse shit like it's changing. Like everything. Like people get together. Like I know Google did like a fucking metaverse meeting with all the fucking team members and shit. They were just in the metaverse having a work meeting, and then during their work meeting, like a screen popped up in the metaverse, and Rick Ross was on a streaming platform and performed for them and shit. Like shit like that. You think
you're just doing anything. Like,
also
it wasn't even necessary.
the UFC said they're gonna broadcast a UFC fight in the metaverse. That they plan to do that.
Also, recently, the Netaverse, the Brooklyn Nets, and what they did.
The Nets, like the 3D
Like you're on
visualization
the
of the
court.
game, like you're on the court watching the game.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question about that. So, like, I did kind of see that you shared that story about the Nets. So, what you saw, that visualization of the players playing, was that actual game footage that kind of was converted into the metaverse? Is that how it is, or is it just a simulation that's not necessarily the game that occurred that night?
I
No,
think
to my
it was the
understanding, it
game
was actual
happening
footage.
live. It was
Yeah,
the
it was
game
actual
happening live. So like all the Nets players were wearing something specifically that allowed them to be in the metaverse playing.
Okay, so it's like a part of their uniform, maybe like a chip or something like
Chip or
that.
something on the uniform, but also the cameras. They set up cameras in the arena to follow them and allow it
That's
to
crazy.
project to the metaverse, some shit like that. Like they did some shit I didn't even expect to happen. I feel like this is the infancy of the metaverse, and they just did some shit that should be like years from now possible, but it's possible. So
imagine being able to sell 2 sets of tickets to the game in real life and tickets to the game in the metaverse. Imagine that. I might not be able to afford, and who knows what's going to be more expensive, but let's say I can't afford courtside tickets in real life, but I can afford courtside tickets in the metaverse. Like,
I think eventually the metaverse shit is gonna be more expensive.
Maybe. I mean,
You never know.
personally, it wouldn't be for me. I guess it's what people value, right? It'll be what people value more. Maybe the metaverse will be valued more because it's a newer experience. But like, if I could get courtside, I'm in real life, I'm doing that. But
Well, think about how much these last 2 years have changed the way we think about convening in large groups and getting together
that's true
like
too.
that, right? So it's like
I might want to be courtside where I don't got to be actually near anyone and I can't get sick. And
right. Also,
and real quick, what if they start counting like stats of your metaverse, like achievements and like how many times you've been to a fucking Metaverse courtside game or
That'll be in
on
your
court.
wallet, dog.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
You
like, oh,
bought
like
courtside tickets.
FakinNoMoves has visited the fucking Metaverse and watched 10 games, and
And you
I
get
get a
badges.
badge or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, yo, the fucking shit is endless possibilities.
Yeah, like, and if you think about it, it's like we're gonna progress to the point where there's gonna be a generation, and it's like I would imagine that this pandemic is shaping that. So it's like I got a niece. I don't have children, but I have a niece. This pandemic, she's mostly been kind of isolated from, like, she's not in school, so she's been isolated from being able to kind of socialize with people her age, friends and stuff like that, because of what's been going on, right? So it's like there's a lot of kids like that who are kind of missing that interaction. And when you have mediums like the metaverse and stuff like that in these virtual reality worlds, like, I would imagine, since kids are already on tablets, they're already on video game systems, they're already living that virtual lifestyle, so to speak, like, some of them might prefer not going to a game in person. It was like, yeah, I want to be in my couch where I could go and get up and get a drink and go to the bathroom, and like I don't have to go, sit in the car for 2 hours to get there and whatever. Like, it might be one of those things where families just decide to, like, yeah, let's all be at home and just
Throw on our virtual goggles and we're there. Like,
exactly.
yo, pass me the popcorn. Oh, hold up, I gotta put it in the microwave.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's
oh,
wow.
we still got regular microwaves. Throw that shit in the meta microwave.
This shit is a mind. The meta microwave. This shit is a mind fuck, because it's like, yo, there's gonna be people, like, the cool thing is, like, you could be whoever you want to be on the internet. Literally, you could create whatever identity you want. This is gonna take it to the next level now, and you're gonna have people who actually like and have built up their basically virtual avatar of themselves, their digital avatar, their virtual representation of themselves, to a point where they like that person better than the actual person they are and stuff. Like, it could get to that point. It's not could, it's going to get to that point. And there's people who are probably living that right now.
Yeah,
You know
exactly. I struggle to think, like, because there are people who do that right now, where, like, maybe they ain't shit in real, but on the internet, like, they the greatest, and like,
right.
People love them. Like there's, all right, when you watch like something like TikTok videos, right? It'd be like a lot of it is like cringe dance shit, right? And like shit that like they only doing, like, you're not making TikTok videos when your boys come over, kind of thing. Like,
You talking about Patrick Mahomes' brother? He's that shot.
You talking about Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
I ain't say that, but
I didn't even know you had a TikTok.
What?
Yeah, I'm sure. but basically, like, you're doing shit where, like, you don't even give a fuck, like, how uncool it might be to, like, your actual group of people in real life, because you know what? The audience on TikTok fucks with it. So, like, it don't even matter. Like, there are people that are already valuing their internet support more than, like, whatever support they're getting around them, or however many friends they got in real life. Like,
especially if you could make money from it.
And you can. There's 100%. A lot of money to be made.
Being an influencer and making money off fucking social media is a metaverse type vibe too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fucking the metaverse I just saw today, like, there's fucking real estate agents now who are selling fucking land in the metaverse.
And I had already considered that.
Like,
and what? I think that's the point where, like, now it's like, man, the metaverse. I was talking to this girl and a friend of mine, and we were talking about, she actually lives in Spain, right? So, like, we don't get to see each other, right? But we were talking about, like, oh, like, in, like, we were making jokes about the metaverse, like how in the metaverse we would be able to see each other more easily, right? And
Damn.
it was a joke
because I want to say another finger popping joke.
Go ahead. Like, but the reality is, right? Like, let's say we're doing that, we're seeing each other more easily. Damn, your finger pop joke threw me all the way to bro. Like, what was we even talking about?
Finger popping girls in Spain in the metaverse? Damn,
No.
like you flexing, bro.
No.
I'm joking.
But,
Yo, I don't mean no harm. I'm sorry. No disrespect.
What was we even talking about, bro?
In the metaverse, you can link up with your friend in Spain.
I don't know. Never mind, bro. We not linking up no more. Like, that's it.
I fucked that whole shit up. My bad.
I forgot the whole train of thought. But if I think of it, if I remember it, I'll get back to it. But
some people value their friendship.
Erik, you muted.
My bad.
You're good.
Some
I
people
didn't want my
friendship.
coronavirus sniffles on here and stuff.
Yeah,
so
My bad. But yeah. What I was trying to get to, I think what you was trying to say, well, one of your points before you got into your story was that people value their friendships on the internet or online or social media more so than their actual outside relationships and then I mentioned people profiting from it.
Real estate. That's what we were talking about. Real estate. Okay, so we were discussing like, seeing each other. We could go here. Like, whereas if you don't got a COVID pass, for example, you might not be able to go certain places, right? But in the metaverse, those places are open. And I had mentioned to her, like, you know, what's crazy though is like by that point, people with money or people are going to go into the metaverse and make it so that you can't just roam freely. They're going to make it so that they're gatekeeping certain shit. Now you got to have a certain status even in the metaverse to access shit. And that's what we're seeing with the real estate shit. Thank you for helping me get back to that fucking point.
Bro, think about it. Like, you could take a girl to the Eiffel Tower in the metaverse. Easy.
Yeah.
We got to get in now while the ticket's cheap.
Exactly, but that's the thing. And there's definitely going to be people that go in and they're like, we can't let just anybody see the Eiffel Tower. Like,
I know there's casinos in the metaverse where people are gambling.
I mean, we already gamble online. Like,
but like literally, like throw your VR goggles and pull
a slot machine.
Go to a slot machine or go fucking to the craps machine or play blackjack, poker, anything.
Well, think about Sims. Remember that game? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Everybody's played that.
I always think about that. Whenever I think of the metaverse, I picture Sims in my head. I don't know how y'all think that, but I picture Sims.
Thanks. And there was always a big intrigue with the Sims and people wanting to build those lives and shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what else I compare the metaverse with? Nintendogs. Have y'all ever played Nintendogs?
Nah.
It was like the DS game where you had a dog.
Oh, Sarah, my sister.
And you had to feed the dog. Like, the dog would go hungry if you didn't open your game that day.
It's like Tamagotchi.
Kinda, yeah, exactly. And it's like if you don't, I wonder if that'll be the case too. Like if you, let's say I'm not on the metaverse for a couple days, just like I may not play a video game for a couple days. Is my status gonna struggle? I might miss something. You missed the Travis Scott Fortnite concert? You know what I mean? Like it's shit like that. Like where I might miss things in the metaverse life because I'm doing real life shit. And you know, it's at what point, and then there's the scary thing about what if you so immersed in the metaverse that like you're not even eating in real life, right? You're not washing up in real life, you're not taking a bath, you're not taking care of your real life self because you so immersed with the VR goggles on in the metaverse.
Then you gotta go to metaverse rehab.
It's gonna get, bro, like I won't be surprised if like years from now we hear about someone being like the first person to die because they were so immersed in the metaverse that like they ain't take care of themselves. You know what I mean? And then another thing is when you in the metaverse, like you was talking about, you can just sit down on your couch. Probably people ain't exercising as much. Maybe like obviously you know you can exercise with VR. People do that shit too, but
Yeah, people
you know,
do
people
do
get
that though.
comfortable. When I game, I'm sitting in my chair for hours. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it.
True.
It's dangerous. It could be dangerous. It could be
But
great. It
that's
could
why
be
you got to
dangerous.
schedule your metaverse gym workouts and your metaverse training sessions. And it's probably easier to get a metaverse training session in, you know what I'm saying? You could probably train with anybody you want too. You could probably train with fucking Oprah.
But it's gonna be hard to balance. It's
Train
gonna be
with
hard to balance
Oprah.
it, right? Because we're creating like a side by side simulation world, right? Where we could be in both whenever we want, right? But you can't be if you're in the real world, you can't really attend to what's going on in the metaverse, you know? And you only got the 24 hours in the real life day. It doesn't give you more time kind of thing to like
But
split
there
yourself
could be
up.
an option where you put that shit on autopilot and go back to your regular life, and then your metaverse life is still working or doing whatever it has to do for
I
you.
ain't trying to work in the metaverse, but
I
people
mean,
gonna do
if it
that too.
earns
What if
you
you could get a
bread, though,
metaverse?
if it earns you Ethereum or Bitcoin or
Bro, we
something
talked
like,
about that too. Like, if I'm making, what if I get hired for a job in the metaverse that's making me more bread than my real life job, and now my real life job is raps. Like, I rather work my job
Or
in the metaverse.
or what if you fucking go for a job in a metaverse that's pay more than your current job,
That's
like
what I'm saying.
outside, but hear me out. And you have the qualifications for the job, but they turn you down because of what you wore in the interview in the metaverse. Like your fits weren't up to like, yo, it could be a situation where it's like they are making judgments on your character, be like, yeah, like this, he didn't spend enough virtual coins or ETH on his suit today.
You show
Yeah,
up on some Pursuit of Happiness vibes where he just he comes in
yo,
no
that's
fucking
crazy.
suit on.
it's crazy.
But what if it's like, yo, but I want my spending shit to be private. So now you're just judging a book by its cover?
I mean, think about it. If someone puts their thing private, you'll think they got something to hide. I could see that being frowned upon, right? Bro, there's no rules to this.
Okay, yeah.
There's
I
no
mean,
rules
like
to
I
this.
said, eventually you might, if you even interact with people in the real world, be like, how many kids you got? And they might just be like, oh, none in real life, but I got 4 in the metaverse. Like,
All right, I'm gonna say this. This is the last thing I'm gonna say about the metaverse. But
Raise the stakes here.
food for thought. What about thinking about canceling and cancel culture in the metaverse? Like, how is that gonna be kind of like?
Well, like I said before, I said I wouldn't be surprised because he was talking about bullying. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if people could get blocked entirely in the metaverse, from the metaverse, right? And there's this thing in Black Mirror in one episode where you can block people, right? And if you block them, I guess because of the microchip, if you block someone, because the thing about Black Mirror is every individual episode is its own thing. It doesn't like continue, it doesn't follow a timeline. But a lot of the technologies are the same, right? So you might see a new technology in one episode, and then you won't see it, but like it appears in another episode, right? So because of the technology of maybe the microchip shit, when you can block someone in real life and it blurs them completely, where you cannot see them at all. That's crazy, but that's like something that I would think could be
but you know
possible in
what
the
I
metaverse.
just thought of? Which, damn, I hate that I even had this thought. But like, what if people that get blocked in the metaverse say, okay, it's not like some chip shit or whatever, but like they get blocked so they can't access that land or that world, right? But some tech person out there now builds a world for like evil people, and like all the bad people are in this one world, and then like that's metaverse hell.
Are they gonna
That'd
start?
be crazy. Like I would be scared of those people though.
What about
It's like the what is the dark web of the metaverse, bro? And that's another like aspect, just like all the crazy, disgusting, evil shit that's gonna be happening in the metaverse. You know what I mean? Like this.
I just want to see if they can gentrify the metaverse world. Like, if we talk about real estate, it's like it's early now. We get the hook. We get the nice prices on housing and stuff, and then all of a sudden, somebody with mad money is just like moving in and raising the
or
price
want
of
to knock the
everything.
buildings down and build something else.
Exactly. They're trying to give you payoffs, and you're like,
And they need us off the land now.
they're giving you
Yo.
they're giving you like 20 ETH, and you're like, damn, bro, like shit. You're like, fuck, this is the most amount of money I've ever had in my life right now at this point.
Because Nike wants to build a fucking nothing.
They're gonna turn. They're gonna.
They just want to put a swoosh on the land.
Yeah, they're gonna. People gonna come and gentrify neighborhoods like they did the LES or like Bushwick, Brooklyn. Like, like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's very possible.
Metaverse is deep. I think this ain't the last time we talk about the
We
metaverse.
just scratching the surface is the crazy part.
Facts.
But
Every day something news coming out.
it goes deep. It goes deep.
All right, so NFL playoffs.
We just warmed up for an hour with the metaverse.
Word.
Nah.
We gotta talk about the NFL playoffs though.
We should do.
Yeah. And that
Thoughts?
ties into like gambling in a way, because gambling's legal in New York now. So
Yes, sir.
Which is one of the biggest markets in the world. So like that's a big thing.
yeah.
New York, these last 2 years during the pandemic, it's like, they legalized weed and legalized gambling. Okay. Making some progress.
You can do all that, but you just can't sit in a restaurant and eat normally.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a whole other discussion there.
Yeah.
We already spoke about coronavirus to start.
Yeah.
Let's not work backwards now. But
let's go forward. NFL playoffs coming up.
Yeah.
And what's been going down?
Well, let's start last weekend. We had how many games did we have? 4, right?
Yes, sir.
So we had an epic game between the Bills and the Chiefs.
Well, that was like the headliner.
That was the headliner. Everybody wanted that in the AFC Championship, but we got it, in the second round.
Mhm.
We had what else? Help me out here.
Rams, Bucks,
Rams, Bucks,
Bengals, Titans, and
Bengals, Titans.
Chiefs. And Packers, 49ers.
Yep.
Right. So I think it's a good segue because if you think about it, like that weekend, this past weekend in football was kind of like represented a lot of things. Possibly Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Green Bay Packer. Who knows what the future holds for him? Could he retire? I don't know. Does he go elsewhere to play? Does he stay in Green Bay, right? Tom Brady, he's in his mid-40s. Definitely for him could be his last game ever.
Ben
does he come back?
Also officially retired. Just
today.
In that crop.
Today, yeah.
Big Ben retired today officially. But I mean, let's be honest. He's been retired for like 3 seasons. Unofficially.
Right. I'm not gonna argue it.
But yeah, so it's like, but then it makes that game between the Chiefs and the Bills to me stand out even more because what you saw and what you got to peek into is the future, like literally the future. And you saw 2 guys who were 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of their era, kind of get tossed to the side. And now you got these young guns, and it's like, it's. I mean, if you're an NFL fan or if you're a Chiefs fan or a Bills fan, this shit is an exciting time. Like to me, that was one of the. I was disappointed in the NFL playoffs until this past weekend. I was like, like wasn't that many great games.
Yeah, there was a lot of like lopsided games the first round.
Yeah, and man, that that Bills Chiefs game, I was like, that's some of the best quarterback play I've ever seen ever. Like, what do you guys think?
Oh, it was. I mean, it was some of the best quarterback play without a doubt, 100%. It was some horrible defensive plays
It
on the back
it
end
wasn't
too.
better than Eli Manning in
Okay.
the snow in Green Bay
Yeah. All right.
that year. You know what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't even snowing.
Nah, I'm
He
saying.
just invented snow. It was not snowing. It was just cold as shit.
Nah, it was snowing. It was
Hell
snowing.
no, it was
You,
not snowing.
you don't remember the snow game? Okay, it was
Do
just
you
cold.
remember the
Maybe it
snow
was just
game?
too cold. I don't know. It was so cold. I thought it was snowing. Then I
Yeah,
guess.
no, it was not
Okay.
snowing.
Are you referring to the first Super Bowl run by the Giants where Eli and the Giants played Brett Favre in the
Yeah.
cold,
Mhm.
where it was like negative 20 degrees or whatever?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no snow.
So cold it felt like it was snowing.
Yeah, there was no snow.
Thank you.
Somehow
Anyway.
we had a tie in Eli there somehow, you know.
Yeah.
But
You talking about great quarterbacks. You know, errors, you know, Tom Brady, you know, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. We couldn't not bring him up. Yeah.
Facts.
although there is a debate about whether he's great or not. I'm not gonna get into it, but
He's
you know,
not. We're not gonna get into it, but I just want to say where I stand on it.
I'm trying to be nice here. I'm a Giants fan, but I'm also realistic.
I
You know.
appreciate it.
But you know,
That is
I ain't
refreshing.
gonna lie, I'm trolling a little bit. I don't think Eli's great either. But anyway, let's keep going.
see, praise Eli. He's like shitted on him. So, what do you?
I love Eli though. Like personality wise, he's awesome.
Oh,
Nah, he's
Eli's
dope.
the fucking
He's
best.
one of the best human beings
I love
ever.
him.
He's a
I
great
love
human
Eli.
being.
He's dope,
Yeah.
and by
I
all
can agree.
accounts,
And he did what he had to do for us too. He got us too.
Twice.
So
Tough as hell. I agree.
come on.
yo, like say what you want to say about him, the doofy faces, the fact that he really only had 2 extended runs in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, we could nitpick. At the end of the day, that dude showed up every Sunday. He was an Iron Man, never hurt. Like, if it weren't for the fact that the Giants decided to bench him, he would have probably broke the record, right? Did he finish second
Most consistent games, yeah. Without
for the most consecutive games at quarterback?
Yeah.
So it's like the dude, like he had a
You
great
know what?
career.
Hall of Fame. Put him in.
He had a great career. I mean, he's gonna be a borderline Hall of Famer for a lot of people. The 2 Super Bowls help him. You know, like there's guys of his era put up better numbers. He was never the best quarterback in the league at any point. He was never an MVP. However, if you look at the totality of his career and stuff, over his biggest accomplishments were the 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, but also the fact that his longevity and consistency in that time. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't perfect, but he was a good quarterback every year. You know, more than likely he's in the top 10, the top, you know, I would say the top 10, top 12 range on a consistent basis for the duration of his prime. I think that's a fair statement to say. You know what I mean? So like, hats off to Eli though.
Yeah.
But what was
What's
that?
going on
I'm
now?
gonna keep
though?
mine on. You said
Yeah,
hats
yeah.
off to him. I'm gonna keep mine
You
on.
guys?
But I fuck with Eli. I fuck with Eli.
I know you're a Falcons fan, so
Yeah.
Falcons fan, but also the Giants did beat the Falcons in the playoffs on one of their runs to the Super Bowl.
That doesn't weigh on me at all.
Okay, so I didn't know if it did.
No.
Okay,
It was an ugly game. I believe it was like 24-2.
you guys were favored to beat us in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
We I didn't like that we had a better record, but because we didn't win our division, we had to travel to the Meadowlands.
It sounds like the collegiate football league, kind of. You know,
Oh, does it?
I don't know.
That
man.
life.
You're still reeling, I see.
Yeah, I know.
From your collegiate bowl loss.
Yeah, fantasy football, man.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I feel you.
But yo, let's get back to what you're saying. Like the future
Let's talk about it.
of these quarterbacks. Like,
Oh no, it was some of the greatest quarterback play. I mean, I know I've ever seen. The NFL is in great fucking hands. Like
That's
Josh
what I like.
Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like there was Patrick Mahomes already, and I mean they both kind of proved it already. I would say like that they're the next up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't need this game to prove it.
Well,
but they definitely
I mean, but
solidified and
Josh Allen, for people like us, we know. But
yeah.
maybe to the broader
But he
audience,
was in the MVP conversation last year. But I understand what you're saying.
but even that I feel like might go under the radar for.
but did we
like,
know though? But did we know? Like, let's think about it. Josh
I
Allen.
I
did.
knew.
I knew.
No,
I knew.
I speak
I'm
for
not knocking
myself.
him. Josh Allen is super talented.
Hamilton made sure we knew. Nah,
Shout out
No,
to
no, no.
Hamilton.
Josh Hamilton. I mean Josh Hamilton. Look at him now. Now I'm going to baseball.
We gonna start
Scott.
calling him that.
Josh Hamilton. Nah, but Allen though, like, don't. He's obviously talented. Big arm. He could run. He's big. He's hard to take down. Like last year was an amazing year for him, and then this year, like what he did going against Mahomes and dueling him like that and answering every play that Mahomes made was incredible to see. But like, I'm gonna be honest with you, as good as I thought he was, I felt like he had to ascend to Mahomes' level or show that he was capable of going, play for play with him. And he
I
did
agree.
that in that game. I don't think he ever showed that level of consistency or like dominance in the game until that game.
Not even that game.
get what you're saying.
Wasn't he? I don't know if he finished perfect, but wasn't he perfect in the playoffs? Were the Bills not perfect on offense? And I know against the Patriots, every single drive they scored a touchdown. And then against the Chiefs, I don't know if it was all their drives, but majority of their drives, they was scoring touchdowns, putting points on the board. So not only this game, but this playoffs, he really kind of showed that consistency.
Shout out to Brian Daboll. Am I saying that right?
Dabble, I believe.
Dabble. Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong too.
Could
That's
pop-
how I always.
I thought it was the bowl.
Yeah, it could be
I
that.
don't think it's that one.
Listen, I had as a Giants fan, I just had to figure out how to say Joe Shane. I was calling him Joe
Yeah,
Shane.
Shane. Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Shane. So
Yeah, same. Once I saw him pronounce his damn name.
When he pronounced it, that's when I knew.
right.
Yeah.
So, but Brian Daboll, the ball, whatever. He might be the next Giants coach. Looks like he is the hot candidate right now. But we'll see. But yeah, like Allen to me, kind of for the first time, that game kind of made you think, all right, is he creeping in the conversation with a Mahomes? Like he's put up numbers, but like I feel like of the younger generation quarterback, so to speak, the new wave, right? Mahomes was like on his own tier. And like you have guys like Lamar Jackson who could win an MVP during that time, and Josh Allen who could compete for an MVP and look incredible. But it's like Mahomes, because what he did in the playoffs, getting to the AFC Championship game year after year, possibly putting himself in a position to get to his third Super Bowl in a row, and just what he did from a numbers perspective, like his individual stats and his team success, it just put him on another plateau.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
and understandably so. When you go to back-to-back Super Bowls, when you go to 3 straight AFC championships, now 4 straight AFC championships, like, yeah, you're going to be on your own level. You know what I mean? So I totally understand it. And it's up to someone like Josh Allen. Until Josh Allen is in that AFC championship or representing the AFC, he will be behind Mahomes. You know what I mean? Everyone will be. Until Lamar does it, he will be behind Mahomes. Everyone will be behind Mahomes until they can beat Mahomes in the playoffs and come out of the AFC as the representatives and playing in the Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What do you think? Do you think Josh Allen is the guy? Is he the Peyton Manning to Mahomes'
Tom Brady? I would say so.
Or is Joe Burrow going to have something to say about it? Or is Justin Herbert going to have something to say about that?
I think they're all in the conversation. I think the AFC quarterbacks for this next decade to 15 years are going to be incredible to watch. The same way that the AFC belonged to Brady, Peyton, and Ben for the last 2 decades almost, I see the same thing. Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Lamar, Burrow's putting himself in the conversation. Yeah, you can say it's early, and obviously it is, but hey, you can't knock what he's done.
And you still got Lamar out there.
Yeah. So those 5. Who else? Trevor Lawrence obviously has to prove it, but the talent is there. Obviously, he didn't have a great rookie year, but I look forward to see if he puts his name in the conversation because he's the most highly touted quarterback prospect we've ever seen. Some would say coming out of college. So the AFC quarterback shit is gonna be so crazy to watch.
So who's gonna be the Philip
Patriots.
Rivers, the Philip Rivers of that group? So
Justin Herbert. Nah, Justin Herbert, I think is better, right, than Rivers, or should probably ascend to be better than Rivers.
In that
right?
group,
I would say Herbert will probably be more Ben than Rivers. Of that group, I would think Burrow would be more Rivers because the Bengals. It's hard to trust the Bengals as a franchise to, keep themselves involved, right? And the Chargers always kind of struggled with that. And, the Bengals are always just there, but they're easy to overlook. And it's starting off well, right? But nobody is really giving the Bengals a chance. I mean, if he could beat Mahomes right this upcoming Sunday, like, we having a different conversation.
But to be fair, though, Philip Rivers, during his time as the QB, like the Chargers had fielded good teams. Maybe they didn't have the greatest
sometimes, but they also had LT, Antonio Gates, fucking like they had guys. Vincent Jackson, RIP to Vincent Jackson. Like they've definitely had guys. You know what I mean? And I mean, look at the Bengals right now, though. Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, they got guys. But it's as a team, as an organization, as a franchise, will they do what they need to do to get them over that hump at least once? You know what I mean? The Chargers never could.
It's gonna come down to coaching too. Like the Chargers, they had North Turner was their coach for a few years. Was it Marty Schottenheimer was their coach? He was always had a reputation of being great in the regular season, could never win the big one. So yes, it's gonna be interesting. Like you said, I agree with you. The AFC is stacked with QBs. Like it's stacked. Their future it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. Whereas the NFC is like, you got, who do you have?
Kyler Murray.
Who?
Kyler Murray,
Dak, DJ.
I don't know what you're talking about. DJ who?
Danny Jones.
Danny Jones, Danny Dimes.
Nah, I'm fucking trolling. I don't even like that dude.
I don't even like that dude.
On record, I just got to put that on record.
Nothing personal, just
Yeah. Don't let Arun hear that. But anyway,
okay, let's be real though. Let's be real. Okay, Dak,
Kyler Murray, I would say Dak. Justin Fields,
Jalen Hurts.
Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts. I don't think if we're thinking of young talent,
yeah, and that,
but they don't have anyone like the AFC has, guys, where we've seen it already.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And most of the NFC's quarterbacks are the Rodgers, the Russell Wilson.
I know we're talking about the NFC, but think about also NFC and the AFC also. Mac Jones didn't look bad this year either.
Mac Jones.
That's another kid. Like
another one.
You know what I'm saying?
Another one.
Yeah, back to the NFC.
Yeah, no, the NFC in comparison is really lacking. But I've made the point, like the NFC, like they only for the past, the NFC isn't usually dominated by quarterbacks the way the AFC is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I still feel like Drew Brees is in the NFC, like even though I know he's not, but I feel like these guys like Stafford are growing into that spot that Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and stuff, you know. So
well, the oldest NFC quarterbacks are who? Like Stafford, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers still, even though he's probably leaving. Who knows if he leaves the NFC entirely?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Shit, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, yes.
He was the starter for the Washington
No,
football team. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, though. By virtue of the fact that there's a lot of QBs in the NFC that are not as established or don't have the reputation as some of the young dudes in the AFC, that also might make the path to get to a Super Bowl easier because you don't have to go through this gauntlet. Like the way it's shaping up in the AFC, it could potentially, like, you might see years where Patrick Mahomes might take a L in the second round
Yeah.
because
he's running into Burrow, Herbert, Lamar, Allen. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I totally get it. But yeah, the path will be easier on the NFC, and it always has been, right? Teams aren't going through the NFC consistently getting to the Super Bowl on the NFC side. It's always a different team. You never know who's coming out of the NFC, or you can't really say it confidently, right? Like it's never been easy to predict who's coming out of the NFC. Really, it always changes.
Much more parity because you didn't have Brady dominating the whole conference.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So we talk about that, but like, what do you think about anything that stuck out to you outside of that Chiefs Bills game in terms of like any plays or just general play or coaching or anything that stood out?
My dad was on the phone with me a little early, and he was telling me that he heard someone say like the Bills kind of made a mistake celebrating with 13 seconds left, and my dad made the point like they supposed to celebrate with 13 seconds left. Like how are you not comfortable celebrating with 13 seconds left? Like anything that happens after that point is a complete debacle on the defense, or like you're supposed to be able to feel comfortable with 13 seconds left.
True.
The fact that happened
with 13 seconds left, it's pretty much over.
I'm chilling. Like I'm celebrating too. Like I know anything could happen, right? And obviously you don't want to celebrate too early, but in that moment, the gravity of that moment, like hell yeah, you're celebrating with 13 seconds.
Bro,
in a football game for sure, not in a basketball game though.
Oh
like,
no, not
depending on the score. Depending on the score.
But what was it? What was the score?
One possession. It was one possession. It was they were up 3.
Considered a 2 or 3 pointer in a basketball game.
Yeah, it's just one possession. Yeah.
What's to your point? That shit was not supposed to happen.
It absolutely wasn't.
I remember when it was happening in the group chat, you literally was like, "Oh, it's a wrap." Like Buffalo doing, like they going to the next round. You was like Hamilton's hype, and then 30 seconds later, you was like, "Holy shit, scratch that. My bad, Hamilton." Like
I didn't say that.
No, that wasn't you. Who was?
No,
but I seen that happen. That like
I actually made the
change of emotion, like throughout a group chat, like as it was happening, like, oh, congrats Hamilton, because he's the biggest.
I would never.
And then oh shit, like nah, my bad. What the fuck? Like
I would never. I actually made the joke that 13 seconds was too much time. I actually made the joke like, oh, they left too much time on the clock as a joke.
But see, even that, like, I'm aware that like that energy was around, like shit like that, like
yeah, I mean, it should have been over, bro. It's like, I mean, that was the craziest playoff finish since the Diggs shit, and Diggs is on the wrong side of this one since the Diggs against the Saints.
Yeah,
like, and now Diggs is on the wrong side of it, but like you're supposed to feel comfortable. Like you're supposed to feel like, okay, we did it. We just hit him with the last shot. Like it was back and forth blows, and we just finished them off. Like,
yeah.
How do y'all feel about the argument about them squib kicking versus not squib kicking it deep?
I don't get that deep into football, so I really don't even.
Okay, a squib kick is basically you kick it short of the end zone so that they have to return it. And it'll probably trickle off 4 to 5 seconds off the clock on the return, as long as they don't, run the shit back.
I could see both sides to that. Like, I understand part of the reason they were saying they didn't squib kick it is because there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
True.
So it's like, if it goes right, you could take 4 or 5 seconds, but if it goes bad, then they can end up having the ball at the 50-yard line.
True.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, I guess it really depends on how much you believe in your special teams to kind of get the job done. So it's like, in most scenarios, though, even if you were to just kick it and they take the touchback, you're still not supposed to be able to get in field goal range for being that far back, and do what, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs did. Like, how many timeouts? They had 2, right?
I believe that too.
Yeah. So, like, for them to do that.
Wait, they might have had none. Did they have 2? No, they definitely had at least one.
It was one. I think it was one.
Okay.
But regardless of the fact, it's like, for you to be able to do that is kind of crazy. It's like I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. And what about the fact that apparently Travis Kelce ran whatever route he wanted?
That was crazy, yeah.
Read the defense, decided he was just going to take it up the field. Mahomes hit him, and rest is history.
Well, they said also Kelce is also responsible supposedly for the route that Tyreek Hill went. Yeah.
Yep. So that's incredible. Also, I wanted brief shout out to the kickers of all of these games, because whenever the kickers are a non-story, that's a great thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Word.
The kickers all did their job. In the Bengals Titans game, in the fucking 49ers Packers game,
yes,
in this game, and in the Rams game. Like
the Rams game,
the kickers were a non-story, and that's a W.
In our history, fucking watching the playoffs, there's always at least 1 or 2 games where the kicker blows the kick and doesn't tie the game or win the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they all held it down. And I feel like they were all young kickers too.
Evan McPherson for the Bengals, Robbie Gould for the 49ers, not young.
Oh, yeah, he OG.
Rams, Matt Gay. Been in the league a couple years, but relatively young. And then Harrison Butker and Tyler Bass. Harrison Butker's been around a few years, but Tyler Bass is young. I believe second or third year.
Butker's becoming an OG too.
And also, like, to add on to that, thank God that there weren't really any games that were kind of decided by like pass interference or a bad penalty. Like,
whereas like these last 2 years, I feel like the playoffs have been ridden with like bad play calls deciding games and people
penalty
being upset about that. Yeah, like penalty calls. Yeah, facts.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, it was great football. It's a beautiful thing when you can watch it and it comes down to what those guys do on the field. When you let the talent do what the talent's supposed to do.
Facts,
you know what I mean?
facts.
So
for real,
incredible to see.
So I want to ask, what are y'all like? How do y'all see the next round playing out? But I also want to tie it in with like, did any of y'all bet any money on these past games?
I got you on both.
Win or lose? I definitely lost. I haven't won. I'm on a drought, so it's looking scary.
I got you on both. I want to give a brief shout out, Cooper fucking Cup, the man, bro. Like, just that we can't not talk about certain things, and we gotta talk about that. Cooper Cup's the fucking man. Shout out to him. 2 huge catches on the last drive to win the game.
Yes.
I have not bet on the NFL playoffs at all. But I've called every game correctly besides last week's AFC games. Both of those I got wrong. I had the Bills and the Titans in the AFC Championship, but I've called the NFC completely right so far. I had the Rams 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
I had Niners, Rams.
I had the Niners beating the Cowboys and the Packers.
I had Bengals, but I did a funky parlay where I didn't follow my gut, and instead of doing the Bengals money line, I did I think T. Higgins anytime touchdown, which didn't happen. And then I did a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, which did happen. And yeah, man.
Yeah, you could have asked me about T. Higgins.
Yeah,
I had him on my fantasy squad.
Honestly, I was going based off another, like, we follow
yeah,
another source for like gambling Twitter and shit. Like, they had like good percentage or reason why. So I was
follow
like,
your heart.
I'm gonna follow them, but I
gotta
should have
follow your
followed my
heart.
heart. Yeah, facts. So Eric, how about you? Like gambling's new in New York. Did you gamble at all?
I didn't gamble in any of the games. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like sometimes it's a little dicey for me when I gamble on games. I don't enjoy them as much sometimes
True.
because it
That's the
brings
only thing I
another
hate about
element.
gambling.
Yeah, because it's like I don't want to be looking at my phone to see if I'm covering or like it becomes like a task to me. Like if you could kind of juggle that and it doesn't mess with your experience, more power to you. But like for me, it's
Yeah,
like
I got a
Boys, I
good
didn't want to
balance.
do it. I didn't want to do it, but I just had to check because we was talking about it. I won my parlay tonight just now. I
oh
had the same
nice,
game
Nice,
parlay in the Warriors
nice,
game.
nice.
okay,
So just
nice.
yeah.
Nah, I didn't bet any money, but like now that you're mentioning it, maybe I might bet this weekend. Let's see, because I do have some money in my FanDuel account that's just sitting there.
I'm deaf down to bet the Chiefs to beat the Bengals. I just think there's no way that we don't. There's no way we're seeing the Bengals in the Super Bowl. That's the easiest way I can say it. There's no way we're seeing the Bengals.
I think Chiefs and Rams.
The Chiefs are a lock. I said it last week before I even knew the schedule. I said it last week to my brother CJ. I said the Chiefs and the Bengals is going to be the first game on the slate because the Chiefs are going to win, and as long as the Chiefs win, they'll let the 49ers and Rams play it out. But if the Chiefs were to lose to the Bengals, then the Rams are definitely beating the 49ers on the other side. So
That's the thing.
but
I think the Chiefs and the Rams will be the Super Bowl, but I'm rooting for the Bengals, low key. Like I want to see the Bengals win. I don't know, something about it, like Cincinnati.
I mean,
Like I like seeing new shit happen.
I would like
new
to see the
teams
Bengals win too.
prevail,
That would be a
so
great fucking story.
facts.
But I just think there's no way that's what we're seeing.
They
And I
still
think it's gonna
they
be
will get smoked though, regardless in the
yeah.
Super
And
Bowl.
I mean, there's a storyline in play for whether it's Chiefs Rams or Chiefs Niners, right? Chiefs Niners is a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? And then Chiefs Rams. These have been two of the most prolific offensive teams in the last 4 years, 4 years ish, right? Since the Rams got McVay and since Mahomes took over as starter in Kansas City, and they had that incredible game. It was like 51 to what the fuck was that score? It was an incredible Monday Night Football game. Not last year, but the year before, and of course that was with Jared Goff at quarterback. But a ton of star power on both teams. Like to me, that's the game that
Yeah. And the Rams have recently a couple years ago made it to the Super Bowl as well and lost.
And lost to the Patriots. Yeah.
Now you got
yeah.
now you got Odell teaming up with Cooper Kupp, and Odell looks rejuvenated, scoring touchdowns left and right. Like I mean, that adds a little dimension that we didn't have before. Shout out, shout out to the Chiefs though, because like I got to be honest with you, like there was a lot of people who basically doubted their ability to do what they did during the course of the season. Like you think about the beginning of the season, how people were like,
it started rough,
like this is not the same team. Like Mahomes is not the same quarterback. Their offensive line was still having issues. Like they couldn't get Tyreek Hill the ball. Like it was their run game wasn't doing anything, and like it was getting rough for a moment for them. So like for them to turn it around the way they did, and now they appear to be the Super Bowl favorites. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and they're doing it way different.
Yeah, there was a part of me that felt early on that I was like, this might be just what they need though for them to be going through all these troubles now, because then it might be good on the opposite end towards the end of the year for them.
Yeah,
it might just start clicking all when they need it
because you don't want to peak too early.
That way, yeah.
You don't want to peak too early. Yeah. I felt the same shit. It was good that they had that little lull, and there was doubt, and they kind of had to reset and kind of figure it out, work through it, and now they're better because of it, right? And then when they were struggling offensively, right, their defenses started stepping up. because they got a lot of guys back from injury. They didn't have Chris Jones early in the year. And there was someone else that they didn't have earlier in the year. I don't know if it was injury, but they ended up getting a bunch more starters back on defense, and then the defense started winning them games. And now the offense caught up, as we kind of knew would eventually happen, right? And now they're clicking. So I would say it was good for them. You kind of need that.
So Eric, what do you feel? What are your picks? Do you think, or how do you see this playing out this week?
I think that we're going to see the 49ers and the Chiefs. I don't know why I've been riding with the 49ers the whole time. Not because I particularly love them, but I feel like they just have the right kind of chemistry going right now and belief. And the way they've been running the ball and just the way they've been playing as a team, like defensively, like they just grinding these games out. Like
and defensively on the opposite, like you could say the same thing, kind of like their defense started coming along right when they needed it towards the end to get so that their defense didn't peak too early either. Like they had injuries and then they started getting guys back. Same shit. Like so.
Yeah, I mean they're not the most spectacular team. They're not the Chiefs. Like they don't look as or the Rams. Like they're not gonna put up, you know, like these eye-popping numbers on a week-to-week basis. However, they do have players on their squad who can, you know, like who can give you that same type of electricity, but they just do it differently. You know, they just do it differently. You know, so and it's they gotta let me say what you want. You know, Shanahan is a really good coach.
He's an offensive genius, and that's why it's kind of crazy that you say like, oh, they, you don't think of their offense the same way, right? But like, and I think a lot of that goes back to like maybe quarterback play, right? They don't have that quarterback. You give Shanahan that quarterback that's on par, like the upgrade. Like the Rams were good before, right? McVay was good. I think McVay's great. But the upgrade from Goff to Stafford, I thought was huge, right? I thought Stafford 1000% gives them something Goff couldn't, right? You can design a great offense, right? And it can be a successful offense, but that doesn't mean you're maxing out its potential, right? And I think getting Stafford went a long way in getting closer to that offense's max potential than someone like Goff, right? So now you got Jimmy G for the 49ers. Now you give him a better quarterback. Who knows if that's Trey Lance in the future? We saw him play a little during the season, but you give that offense a better quarterback, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, like they got guys who, are talented offensively, and they got a great guy behind the play calls, designing the offense. And so I think because of who their quarterback is, they got to play more ball control offense and not try to just outscore other teams. But you give them a better quarterback, and I think we could be talking about them the same way as we're talking about the other two offenses.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. And then they got guys like Brandon Ayuk on that team who are talented also, like
and young, and just getting better. Elijah Mitchell had a great year in place of Raheem Mostert, who got hurt early in the year. So, they got Juice Check, at fullback. He's talented.
Right.
So I mean, but they
that's
definitely
a fair point.
got guys.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I think I don't know. Like one of my close friends, Randy, happens to be a Cowboys fan, and like he was like so adamant that they were going to beat the 49ers, and the 49ers are like overrated and this, that, and the third. You'll see it. I'm like, bro, like that is the type of team that has the recipe for basically beating you.
Yeah. I was adamant the opposite way. I was adamant that the 49ers were going to beat the Cowboys. If there was any underdog, because I was all favorites in the wild card round. But if there was any, except for that game, if there was any
I was
underdog,
on that wave,
it was
definitely
the
too.
49ers. Like 100%.
Yeah. The Niners for sure. I was like, they have to. But then there was a side of me too, like when you get into like gambling, just to tie it into gambling again, like Twitter gambling and all that. I seen them like a lot of people pushing at least the spread on Cowboys, like -3. So I was like, damn, I was like so torn. But my heart said the Niners were gonna win. Like I felt like go with them as the underdog if any team. And also the Bengals. But I felt like Bengals and Raiders were definitely more of a toss up, like, you know.
Oh yeah. That was a toss up, but I did like the Bengals slightly, but I could see that one going either way. But back to the Rams Niners, like I could definitely see people putting money on the Niners to upset the Rams. Like I might even put a little money on that, just because you can make more if you bet on the underdog to, So I might look into that because I definitely think they have a chance. And you're dealing with two teams that are in the same division, and they'll be seeing each other for the third time this year. Like it's division games are a different beast. You know what I'm saying? So
There's a
that
lot,
could go either way.
and there's a lot of pressure. I feel like more pressure on the Rams to win this game just because they went all in. They traded for Stafford. They traded for Odell. They traded for Von Miller.
They've been trading first round picks for years. They've been all in. Their window is closing soon. If they can't get it done.
For certain.
Yeah. So I agree. There is a lot of pressure on the Rams. They will be at home though, and if they win, then they're hosting the Super Bowl, which is crazy.
Super crazy.
We'll see, and it could be the second year in a row. It could be the second year in a row that a team in the Super Bowl is hosting it.
I was gonna say I know they definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was gonna also say this might be the biggest underdog odds the Niners have this postseason.
What is it?
So I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Oh, okay.
Because of the matchup, But yeah, so people are definitely gonna be intrigued by that and enticed to bet heavy on them, just in case.
It's 3.5 points. 3.5 point spread. Not crazy.
No, how about money line wise?
Plus 148 for the
148.
Plus 148. Yeah.
Damn. So last game, then they were plus 200 against the Packers.
Oh yeah, I would definitely see people going definitely heavy on the Packers, but again, the 49ers dominate the Packers in the postseason. Like that, I never had faith in the Packers.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
I had a question. Like you guys brought up, you brought up the Packers. A big topic of conversation, obviously, is the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't make it to the NFC Championship game like most people thought they would. They end up losing to the 49ers, right? Again.
Mm-hmm.
They had a great regular season.
Again.
So like I see like this wide range of like how people are kind of judging him. Obviously, it's very fashionable to make fun of Aaron Rodgers because of the whole vaccination status thing and him being vocal about that. And, so like some people would, depending on what side you're on, like are taking joy in seeing him fail in that regard. Then you have people who just hate the Packers and just hate him because they feel like he's a dick and stuff and arrogant. So like, how do you weigh and view his time in Green Bay if it's come to an end and stuff? Like
Hamilton, a friend of ours, called him a choker,
right?
And because he's only made it to one Super Bowl, and I wouldn't call him a choker, but I would say that he definitely underwhelmed expectation wise when it comes to delivering Super Bowls, right? Delivering championships to Green Bay. As a career, as a player, hell no. Like Aaron Rodgers is the man. Like Aaron Rodgers is nice. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like I don't think he underwhelmed in that aspect, but I don't know if it was you that actually made the point, Erik, but he had McCarthy for way too long. And someone made the point in our group chat. And yeah, and I just think the team didn't do enough. How since Jordy Nelson is gone, has Devontae Adams been the only receiver there in Green Bay? How have they not had a consistent defense until this year? Their defense played really well. But until this year, how have they not been able to put together a consistent defense? It's just, I don't think they did enough for him to put those pieces around him, really. And the NFC is tough. Like, it's so
and he had a couple injury riddled years.
Yeah, tore his broke his collarbone a couple. I don't know if it was a couple times, but I broke his collarbone at some point.
That was at the end of the season too, right?
Huh?
That was at the end of the season too, right? We broke the collarbone.
I think he broke the collarbone. He might have done it twice, bro. Like, I feel like he broke his collarbone and then came back at the end of the year against the Bears in prime time a couple years ago. And then there was I don't know if that was when he broke the collarbone against the Vikings. I remember early in the year he broke his collarbone against the Vikings on like an Anthony Barr sack or something. I don't know, but he's dealt with injury too.
Yeah, and then you can't you can't predict like guys like Russell Wilson coming out of nowhere and making runs and potentially stopping
the Seahawks putting together one of the
how
best
many times
defenses.
the Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl in like that span of time where it was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers' time. It was supposed to be Rodgers versus Breeze.
Yeah.
You know?
And over we saw, the Seahawks came out of nowhere. The Falcons.
Atlanta. I was gonna say Atlanta made a couple runs.
The Falcons made a run where we beat Green Bay, the Giants, Eli twice.
Yeah.
So does Aaron Rodgers become the new Peyton Manning? Does he go to another team and adds on to his Super Bowl resume somewhere else? And then do we look at him differently?
Might have to.
Yeah, that's a good answer. He might have to. Yeah, 100%. That's a great comparison. I think he definitely has to. Now, if he goes to the AFC, because most people have predicted like the Broncos, and the Broncos actually just hired his offensive coordinator to be their head coach. And I think that's a power play. Whether Rodgers goes there or not, that's a power play by the Broncos. Shout out to the Broncos. That's like, we trying to get him. We trying to get our guy.
Gotta be crazy because they're doing the Peyton Manning 2.0. But look at Ben Roethlisberger just retired today. And remember that whole thing with Mike Tomlin and him?
Oh yeah, they real recognize real.
Remember?
Yeah. Real recognize real.
That could be an opportunity there.
That's an incredible opportunity. But the AFC, like we mentioned, the gauntlet is tough. It won't be tough.
You got these young dogs. Do you want to go up against these young dogs?
Is it the right decision to go to the AFC or just relocate in the NFC, where it might be an easier path? If Brady retires, the Bucks job kind of opens up all of a sudden.
Woo, that's
come on, like there's opportunity there, right?
But the Bucks job opens up, but you won't probably be having Chris Godwin. Let's say he doesn't come back.
I mean, because if you're throwing money at Rodgers, you're losing. You're probably not able to keep Godwin.
And you're not getting Gronk to come back. He's only going to come back with Brady, I would imagine, right? They're kind of tied at the hip.
AB still in New York.
Yes, AB is.
AB been in New York for like a month.
Yeah, so like
in the studio with Fabio.
I wonder what team it is in the NFC. If it's not the AFC, what team do you think is the best candidate in the NFC?
Okay, when you say best candidate, do you mean like realistic options to get?
Let's say realistic, not what you would like to see.
Because I just thought of a fantasy scenario where Russell Wilson leaves and then fucking Rodgers goes to the Seahawks and shit. Like,
I mean, quarterbacks could be on the move this year, man. But I would think a good place for him to go, where it's kind of realistic. I could think of like New Orleans. No, Sean Payton's leaving. Depends on who the coach would be. but but if they could keep Michael Thomas and Kamara, like Rodgers would be crazy. I can't picture him in New Orleans at all, though.
Is Michael Thomas gonna be Michael Thomas again?
I think so, man. Like it's easy to downplay a person when you don't see him, but like, like he gonna be solid enough. Maybe he's not the top receiver in the league, but I never really put him there. Top 5 though, and easily top 10.
Can he go to the 49ers?
Yes, 100%. That's where it is. That's the answer. That's the answer. That's the best answer. I'm glad you said it because I was blanking on teams.
That would be the guy that you said Shanahan needs to match.
That's the answer. That's the fucking answer.
Also, it's worth noting that Matt LaFleur and Shanahan and
work together.
All work together, so there is a connection there.
Yeah,
and it's like, was it 6 degrees of
separation
of separation, kind of.
Yep.
So
I believe Matt LaFleur's brother works in San Fran right now too.
Okay.
I believe he's a coordinator in San Fran. There's connections there. That's his hometown, right? Going back to Cali.
Man, look at that.
It's true.
That's the place. That's the place.
This is where
he might just be signing there this offseason, guys.
I think that's a great.
No sources, just us.
But I feel like this about Rodgers. Like, I think it's fair to criticize him for maybe not getting to more than one Super Bowl, right? But like you mentioned, like there's a ton of parity in the NFC for as long as he's been a quarterback in the NFC, and I feel like we can't sit here and kind of just dismiss the fact that every year this dude, as long as he's healthy, it doesn't matter the roster he has. Like, he's had rosters that he's brought to the playoffs that had no business being there. Like you mentioned, like he's had defenses that weren't really that great at all. He's had incomplete offenses that didn't really have running games, and he had patchwork like receiving cores, and like it's how great he is that he was able to kind of pull shit out his ass and then end up appearing in the NFC Championship game year after year.
How many quarterbacks can make it happen when every team knows that Devontae Adams is your only really talented receiver, and he's still hitting Devontae in windows that almost nobody could hit him in, double coverage, and he's throwing 15 touchdowns to him every year? Like, that's like, what's coming. Like,
I feel like, and that's why I feel like I totally disagree with Hamilton's assessment about him calling this big show cars, because I feel like, like that kind of narrative is just very knee-jerk reaction. It's also a narrative that's kind of built on what we've been spoiled by watching in Brady. Like, there is one Brady. Like, Brady he is by all accounts the GOAT. It's kind of hard to argue against that. From a statistical standpoint, he has the longevity, he has the numbers, he has the rings. Patrick Mahomes maybe one day is going to have something to say about that, but it's going to be a long time until we see somebody approach his success. So it's like, it's unfair to kind of compare Rodgers to Brady. Rodgers never had the stability in Green Bay that Brady had in New England all those years. He never had the coach who was as good. He's never had the organization. Yeah, so like I really feel there's a potential for Rodgers to go to another team, and we could see a Peyton Manning situation. But also, if you want to go further back, we could talk about John Elway. Now, John Elway didn't switch teams, but John Elway was always regarded as, if not the best quarterback in the NFL, right there, top 3, top 5, year in, year out. He was considered a Hall of Famer, just like Rodgers is expected to be if his career ended tomorrow. But the knock on him was that he couldn't win the big one. He would choke in the playoffs. I mean, you think about Marino. Marino is another guy who had all the records. I believe his first year was the only year he ever made the Super Bowl. He lost, and he never got back there ever again in his career. So it's like, You know, like I feel like we do this in the especially in the era that we live in now, where it's like debate shows and it's
Yeah,
like we build these narratives about these guys and just kill them and stuff. But it's like there's only one winner every year in team sports, so it's like somebody's gonna catch an L. Doesn't mean he didn't have a great season.
Yep.
yeah. That's why you just gotta respect great talent. Like you gotta be at a certain level of talent to even compete at these stages, and to be consistent in showing that you can get your team to playoffs or anything like that is all respectable shit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Now, a fucking guy who's fucking just a bum and has like 3 wins for his whole career, like that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like literally 3 wins in like regular
I thought you was
season.
gonna name someone. That's why I started
Nah,
laughing.
nah, nah,
I thought
nah,
we were
nah. I'm
talking
just
about
making
Daniel Jones again.
nah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
But yeah, man. Yeah. So all right, cool, man. I fucks with it. I fucks with it. Like playoffs is crazy, football is crazy, sports is crazy, life is crazy, the metaverse is crazy. But this was a great fucking vibe, man. Like just us linking up, us doing this shit. Like happy we did it. This the outro. You know what I'm saying? Like
I could just end every show when I want by just typing that out, just cutting you off mid conversation. Like, nah,
Right.
we wrapping
this
up.
this new setup from us being remote and not being able to be together, like I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Yeah.
might be what we're going forward with for majority of our podcasts. I'm gonna end this by saying it's your boy FakinNoMoves at FakinNoMoves on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Twitter, um, PlayStation Network. You know,
Damn.
at your boy.
I'm about to meet people in the metaverse.
It's gonna be
That's
my
me in the
metaverse name.
metaverse.
It's gonna be everything. You looking for me? Just type Faking No Moves.
Or
Peace.
Okay.
Y'all sign out on y'all names and y'all
I'm
socials.
working genius at working genius, just like you see it there on the screen on Instagram, on YouTube. That's pretty much it.
And I'm erikBnyc. Same handle on Instagram and Twitter. You know, keep it consistent.
Facts. Yo, no politics. We just had that quarter water talk. Peace.